Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Ray Flick, television be ready for Bleeding Cool. It is Friday, and this is the weekly static. And if I look a little tired, because I'm doing this a little bit earlier than I usually do, which means I'm wide awake for all of you folks today. We are still in season 1. This is episode 34. That's right. This is 34 weeks in a row that I've been doing the weekly static, which means, if nothing else, it's the longest, deepest, probably serious commitment relationship I've had in my entire life. Yeah, we're not going to play years here. It's a special one this week because actually, in tribute of our top 5, I actually have a story about high fidelity, which I'm going to get to in a minute. But let me not jump ahead. Welcome to Weekly Static. My name is Ray Fluck. I represent the Weekly Static team, which consists of Margo Staten, Rocky, Bat-Murr, and Trejo. They are very camera-shy people, but they work very hard behind the scenes to make sure that I look pretty and good when I do all this fun stuff here. The Weekly Static is we take a look back at 5 topics from the past week of Bleeding Cool's television coverage, give a little interesting take on it, sometimes emphasizing what the writer is talking about, other times going off some side tangents, which you may find that we're going to be doing today. And we do it in a top 5 format. The reason why I do it in a top 5 format, because I am a disgustingly huge John Cusack fan. John Cusack is my spirit animal, and the whole Fight Club thing for John Cusack would be like my penguin to, well, yeah, you get it. Better Off Dead, One Crazy Summer, Gross Point Blank, High Fidelity, just some of the fantastic movies of the guy's body. For Hot Tub Time Machine, even still, I mean, just having John Cusack in there just elevated it to a whole cool level. I understand why he didn't come back for the sequel, granted, but I'm just kind of babbling. So yeah, we do top 5 based on High Fidelity, where he does the top 5 things, and he does the top 5 things he loves about Laurie, which is great. But again, I'm rambling. So the top 5 things that we've seen from this week, we count them down from 5 to 1. There's no particular ranking, so we're going to start with number 5. Number 5 is a continuation on a story we had talked about before, which is about Hulk Hogan coming back to the WWE, and there's WrestleMania weekend coming up this weekend, and the whole issue with Mark Henry, and the idea that there's a coalition of black wrestlers. And Hulk Hogan's kind of responded to Mark Henry saying, like, look, you need to do a lot more to win back the good graces of wrestlers of color for the things that you said. Hulk Hogan seems to think that he's just going to go the whole hashtag all wrestlers matter route like people do when it's Black Lives Matter, and they go, well, all lives matter, because they totally miss the point. In both instances, the point is this. You have to, we understand basic concepts. All lives matter, all wrestlers matter. But when one group feels like they just don't matter, that society and the justice system and everything else is not treating them well, that means they need to say, like, look, our lives matter. If they feel they need to remind general society that their lives matter, are important, that's a problem. That's an issue that needs to be addressed. Hulk Hogan's going the typical white guilt route, white pretentious defensive route of just basically saying, well, no, like, Hogan, you said stupid stuff. It got caught on tape. It got out there. Own it. You just don't go the high road. I don't care what other guys are saying. It doesn't matter what Jerry Lawler says or the King says or anything like that. Listen to Mark Henry, because Mark Henry's actually been talking sense in this. So yeah, Hogan, just stop being Hogan so much. Okay, that's number 5. Number 4, we're going to be looking at Jesus Christ Superstar Live. Now, again, I'm kind of disappointed in one way. NBC, you can't put on good productions because it really makes it tough to take smart-ass shots at it. And Jesus Christ Superstar Live actually was a really good production. I was impressed because it had scope and a grandiosity to it. Yeah, I'm going to go with that word, grandiosity to it, that I was really, really surprised about. And the way John Legend and Sarah Bareilles, like, not that I didn't know she had a beautiful voice, but she really rocked that stuff hard. The Eric Gromwell, the Swedish heavy metal rock guy, I was glad to see he was starting to get some attention online, because I think that guy's got a voice that you're going to be hearing a lot more too. But overall, I just thought it was good, solid, strong. I hope live productions stay away from the standards, and I know they're going to go back to standard, but keep doing interesting takes on the things we know. I would love to see a live version of Rent. I would love to see Avenue Q. I'd love to see Spring Awakening. But yeah, Jesus Christ Superstar Live, fantastic job. Excellent props to NBC, and I don't always give props to network television, but did an excellent job on this one. Going to number 3, and this is where I'm going to start getting a little pissy, so buckle up. Okay, The Walking Dead, we're going to find out this week what Carl's letter had to say. Rick's going to be reading at the beginning of the episode. That's not what I'm talking about. This is going to raise up the bigger issue of spoilers, and I'm not going to beat this to death except for one thing. I'm calling you out, comicbook.com. I'm calling you out because there's these things called spoiler warnings, and it wasn't just for this. There were a couple other Walking Dead matters that were brought up this week also. Spoiler warnings. You put them in the headlines. You give people enough spoiler buffer, and any time a social media or promotion or previews that go out, you do whatever you can to not spoil it for the person without them making the choice. I don't think this is really asking a lot. You know, and I don't give a damn how many clickbaits you desperately need to have. The one thing I can honestly say on Bleeding Cool, more often than not, we are really trying hard to put spoilers in the headline. But my editor makes sure she has caught me on 1 or 2 occasions where I didn't even realize it. And she's kind of saved the day and made sure that spoilers was put in the headline, that nothing was being leaked, and you give people enough buffer time so they choose. Let them make the choice. I love spoilers. I don't have a problem with spoilers. Spoilers make me want to see something more, but that's my choice. Don't take the choice out of people's hands, comicbook.com and sites like you. It's a crappy thing to do to geeks, and we're supposed to be watching out for one another. Again, if I want to find out what's going on, I'll make the choice. Don't you make that choice for me, okay? I'm sorry, it just kind of annoyed the hell out of me. So that was number 3. Number 2. Disney's got a new streaming service coming out, and for those of you who don't know, they've got cool stuff lined up, like new Marvel series, Star Wars series, things like that. They're wanting it to be a more open, family-friendly fare. I'm assuming they're probably going for more like a freeform type thing. That's the impression I'm getting. With that comes a TV series adaptation, well, not adaptation, loose adaptation influence based on Nick Hornby's book High Fidelity, which was turned into a 2000 movie by the amazingly great John Cusack, that also had a lineup of Jack Black, Lee Taylor, Tim Robbins, Lisa Bonet. Just an amazing movie. You haven't seen it, you've got to see the movie. It's just incredible. They're going gender swapping the leads, which I think is fantastic. I think that actually adds a really incredible, great, unique take on it. So I'm going to say that right now, that part I love. My problem with it is I don't want you to just bland it down. One of the things I liked about the High Fidelity movie and the book also is it just gives you the sense that it should be R. And I'm not saying R for the sake of just throwing in, oh, let's throw some curse words in, let's throw some sex and nudity and everything. Not that there's anything wrong with that stuff. But it just, there's a grittiness to when you talk about music and a music lifestyle and everything else. And I'm afraid this is going to be more, it's going to be a lot less New York City, Greenwich Village vibe and more like, hey, Disney radio type, softer with a sweet message at the end of episode and everything like that. I don't want that. Because to be honest with you, the concept, especially this idea of 2018, having a female lead who loves music, who involved with a music store or something like that, I think it would just be fantastic. Again, just don't soften it up. It's due, if you're going to change it up, it's still due its level of intensity and concentration that's come in the past. So, again, I'm fingers crossed because I looked the concept. I just, would I feel more comfortable if I heard it was going to be on Amazon, Hulu, or Netflix? Yeah, I'd be a hell of a lot more confident about it. So that's number 2. Number 1, and thank you, Conor McGregor, for making the television week very, very interesting. For those of you who don't know, Conor McGregor showed up to a UFC press event yesterday and essentially made it very, very interesting. Now, Dana White was on ESPN today talking about it. I know there's still a lot of news and everything. People, I mean, Conor McGregor rolled in with like 20 Irish guys from the homeland and just started wrecking tour bus, throwing a dolly through the window. Guys got hurt. Glasses were out in eyes. Matches for UFC this week had to be canceled. Conor McGregor had to go to surrender himself into court. So there's so much of this stuff going on. Couple thoughts on it. One, whether it's true or not, I'll get to that in a second. But Conor McGregor is Conor McGregor. And the one thing we always talk about is, well, athletes talk big. Athletes talk big. They talk big. They talk big. Well, you got to say this. Conor McGregor seems pretty consistent in how he acts. It's not cheap to roll in with a bunch of guys from the home country to go cause some damage, you know, by the Barclays Center. So in that regards, I mean, with Conor McGregor, you clearly are getting what you're getting. There doesn't seem to be that kind of softer Mr. Rogers sweater putting on side to him. On the other side, do I think this was fake? No. Do I think it started fake? Absolutely. I think I'm not going to believe that it wasn't known that Conor McGregor was going to show up. And I think Conor McGregor was meant to show up to cause some problems, some hassles, because he had his title taken away from him. Do I think it was expected he was going to roll in with the Lollipop Guild and cause some major, major righteous damage? Absolutely not. I don't think Dana White in any way, shape, or form thought he was going to have police matters, doing interviews on this morning, having to cancel fights, going to be paying out a lot of money because of any damage that were done, like I said, broken glass and eyes and things like that. So I think it was one of those, hey, let's dabble a little bit in the WWE, Dana White, and Conor McGregor just like, you want a show? I'll give you a show, because I especially don't like the fact that you went on television in the middle of a press conference and stripped me of my title, and thinking maybe there wasn't a lot of respect being exchanged back and forth, and Conor McGregor felt the need to kind of get his respect back. So I'll say this. People are talking about Conor McGregor, and people are talking about the UFC. May not exactly be the way they want, but let's be honest, folks. It's sports. It's combat. In a year from now, you know Conor McGregor is going to have a title, and you know a year from now, Dana White and Conor McGregor are going to be doing press conferences for UFC. I'm not trying to be cynical. I'm consider myself a cynical optimist, but I also get a lay of the land. That's just how it goes, folks. I mean, hell, nobody ever thought Bret Hart would be back on WWE programming, and I think there was to see him and Shawn Michaels shaking hands, wow, beautiful, was something I'd never see. So those things happen. Anything could happen. So that's our top 5. But wait, before you ask, there's more. It's WrestleMania. I love WrestleMania. I've been a wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan ever since I saw Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes standing in the outfield of Veterans Stadium before a Great American Bash tour. Yeah, I'm dropping that brag. Goddamn right I am. Big time. Very proud of it. One thing I want to say about WrestleMania this weekend, because I generally don't do my predictions. I just kind of enjoy it. But I will say this. One thing I'm hoping for, we all know there's going to be something between Cena and The Undertaker. Though I give the WWE a lot of credit of literally not having The Undertaker show up at all. I mean, that's a lot of confidence. But I would love to see from The Undertakers, I would love to see John Cena go on some rant and some tirade. And then just The Undertaker just rolls up, levels him out, just tells him to shut up, I don't need to prove it to anybody. And then later on, with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, I would love to see The Undertaker come out as his final move. Take out Brock Lesnar, take out Roman Reigns, and then just drag Roman Reigns' arm over Brock Lesnar for the 1, 2, 3. I think that would be a very fitting, cool way to wrap up the whole storyline. And then, Jesus, man, let the guy retire. I mean, I'm surprised The Undertaker even has any groin area left, considering the amount of pulls, tears, and everything like that he's had through his career. So, Undertaker, you've earned the right to rest in peace, to kick back, relax, and make the money off your real estate rentals and everything else. So, that's my WrestleMania prediction. Folks, thank you. Ray Flick, the guy who's drank way too much caffeine and may actually stick to doing this stuff in the morning because my energy levels are just woo through the roof. Ray Flick, television be ready for Bleeding Cool. Thank you for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy the weekly static. Again, edition 34. We will be changing to season 2 once we've completed the full year cycle. But please make sure to check out Bleeding Cool this weekend. We're going to have a lot of cool coverage from C2E2. We're also going to be having a lot of cool stuff going on Sunday for The Walking Dead and for WrestleMania. And also just check out all the great articles that we have on bleedingcool.com between comics, television, film, video games, collectibles, fashion, everything like that. We got pretty much everything you're going to want, so please check us out. But thank you guys for joining me. Enjoy your Friday and your weekend, and I will see you on the inner tubes. Take care.